Welcome back to the Listicle, and today we will be reviewing the Google Pixel 10a. Now before we dive deep, real talk, if you've been following the Pixel lineup for a while, you might be thinking, another Pixel A series? But stick with me for a bit, because while this phone isn't radically reinventing the wheel, there's a lot going on under that colorful hood that's worth geeking out over. Let's start with the first impression of the design. It's like Google looked at the Pixel 9a and said, yeah, that was pretty good, and then just polished the corners a bit. The chassis still feels familiar, but with a surprisingly premium build for the price. The Pixel 10a has a flush camera setup that doesn't stick out like a sore thumb, so it lies nice and flat on a table. And honestly, that matters when you're used to phones that wobble if you even look at them funny. That 6.3-inch actual display? Beautiful. Bright, punchy colors, super visible even outside when the sun's beating down. Kind of the little detail you don't notice until you don't have it. It stays smooth thanks to a 60 to 120 Hz refresh rate, so scrolling, animations, and even gaming feel nice and responsive. And on top of that, Gorilla Glass 7i. Real talk. Scratches and scuffs have terrorized phones for so long, so this is a welcome upgrade. Now let's address the elephant in the room, the processor. This phone runs on Google's Tensor G4 chip with 8 GB of RAM. It's not the bleeding-edge Tensor G5 you see in super premium Pixels, but for day-to-day use, messaging, TikToks, photos, light gaming, it feels smooth and capable. You won't feel lag in regular use, and honestly, if you're coming from an older phone, it's such a noticeable difference. Battery life is one of those things that can either ruin or save your day. The Pixel 10a packs a 5,100 milliamp hour battery that Google claims can last around 30 hours on a charge, and even more with extreme battery saver mode. I'll save you the cliffhanger. Yes, it will comfortably last through a long day of shooting, browsing, and gaming without stressing about outlets. Okay, let's talk about the part a lot of you care about most, the camera. Look, we all know Pixels have historically been camera champs, and the 10a continues that legacy, even with the modest setup. You get a 48 megapixel main camera and a 13 megapixel ultra-wide on the back, plus a 13 megapixel selfie camera. Photos straight out of the phone look vibrant and clean, with that classic Pixel processing that makes most shots social media ready. But it's the software tricks that make this phone feel smart. Features like Camera Coach actually analyze your scene in real time and give you tips on framing and composition. Then there's Auto Best Take, which is basically that friend who always tells you when you're blinking in a group selfie, only way more useful. If you take a bunch of shots in quick succession, the phone basically will pick the best ones for you. You just gotta love that. Now, and this is where opinions might diverge. If you're someone coming from a recent Pixel 9a, you might go, this feels eerily familiar. A lot of the upgrades are evolutionary, not revolutionary, and we think Google knows that. But subtle improvements, like the clearer display, slightly refined design, and those little Gemini AI quirks baked into the software, make the experience feel fresher overall. There's also satellite SOS on board, which can be a game changer if you're into hiking, travel, or just want peace of mind that you could ping emergency services even without Wi-Fi or cell signal. And speaking of little wins, the Pixel 10a will officially get 7 years of Android updates. That's wild. That means this phone literally grows with you, staying secure, fresh, and up to date far longer than many competitors. Makes the initial $499 price tag feel even more like a smart long-term play. But let me be honest here, no phone is perfect. The charging speeds aren't insanely fast, and if you're a heavy gamer or power user who needs the absolute top-tier performance, this might feel a bit good but not flagship worthy. And yeah, there's that conversation about how similar it is to the 9a, and that's fair. But here's our take. Even if it's not a massive leap on paper, the experience feels great as always, refined as always, and enjoyable as always, which for most of us is exactly what matters at the end of the day. So if you're sitting there trying to decide whether this is the phone you should pick up next, let us put it like this. If you want a phone that's smooth, smart, gets great photos without complex settings, lasts all day, and doesn't make your wallet cry, the Pixel 10a is seriously compelling. It's not perfect, but it does the basics so well that you forget the minor flaws. The Google Pixel 10a doesn't wow with massive flashy upgrades, but it delivers where it counts and wraps that up in a friendly price tag. It feels like a thoughtful balance of power, design, and features. Like that friend who keeps showing up clutch when life gets hectic. And that's exactly why I think this phone is going to be a hit in the mid-range world. If you enjoyed this review or found it helpful, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts on the Pixel 10a, and don't forget to subscribe if you want more honest tech reviews like this. Catch you in the next one.